All right, and welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, August 26th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, markets here today, pretty quiet overall. Pretty quiet Monday. You can see spiders here down 1/3%. Qs were down 1. So the Qs were down a little bit more here, but the big winner was still in the strength here of the Russell 2000 up 7 cents, and then the Dow here up 89 via the DIA. We actually did make a new all-time high intraday on the cash Dow and the DIA. No follow-through though, but that was still a new closing high though. So Dow here, new all-time highs. And equal weight S&P finishing down just 3 cents for what that's worth, and that closed at a new all-time high on Friday. And I bring that up because, again, the last 2 days we've seen the Russell, we've seen the Dow outperform as the Qs have backed off, and that's been kind of an argument there that, the NASDAQ not leading is a red flag, and generally it should be for the most part. But you can see here we're right back to the levels of dispersion that we had in really the bulk of the summer. So that should make sense. Take a look at the heat map here of the S&P. The only thing that's red is semis and Mag 7. Nasdaq 100 was much redder, and then look at the Russell. You could see it at the close. We had a little bit of a dip, but pretty much everything was green up until that last little dip there. But my point is Dow, Russell, and you see the Dow Jones here, pretty strong. That dispersion here where something is up, something else needs to be down is in play. And you can see here right as the NASDAQ bottomed, the Dow and Russell pulled back intraday. So that trade does seem to be back on. My theory here right now, or at least my analysis of this situation, is we're probably going to make new all-time highs on NVDA earnings. And I think that's where the Qs will take over a little bit more. So I'm not expecting any sort of correction here until about 5,700 at the very least. So I've had that kind of target here for like a week or so now, and we're just basing here. If we take a look at the intraday, or we can even go to like an hourly, this whole zone here is just choppy. You actually have an hourly inside bar pattern, 4 hour, a lot of chop here, but this is just a noisy base for another good trend leg here, as far as I can tell. So again, we'll keep it simple here. Again, volume very light. If we look at the spiders, 35.61 million shares. That's very light. I'm doing this video a little late today, and this is including after hours volume. So very, very light. It's going to be like that this week. So I would give the market the upside bias. Shorting this tape is going to be difficult as you're just shorting into a dull market here. And we've also got CrowdStrike, Affirm, and Salesforce reporting on Wednesday afternoon as well with NVIDIA. So we definitely have some players here. And NVIDIA here, another, bullish inside bar. Granted, it's earnings, so anything can happen. I've seen perfect patterns fail completely. That is possible. But, NVIDIA has not had a bad reaction to earnings in a very long time. And it just seems like it's setting up for that kind of pop there on that NVIDIA news here. So that's kind of the base case right now. And then, after Labor Day, we can talk more about, possible pullbacks or anything else. But that's just kind of the base case for me at this current time. Right now, Qs, same thing, up move. It is well off the highs. So we're still struggling with kind of 480. That seems to be a point of control on the intraday basis. There's been some 0DTE gamma there, really all the last couple of days, honestly. And it seems that if we can punch through that with conviction, that gets us up. We've got 490. We've got the gap fill up there, and we obviously talked last week a lot about that 786, which we hit on Thursday. So we're into these levels here, and again, we're still just basing, I think, for another move. We'll also be watching the monthly close, which will be on Friday. That IWM, very nice inside hammer. So small caps look a lot better than they did at the beginning of the month, obviously. Dow obviously off at all-time highs there, so nothing needs to be said about that. SMH, again, same thing, kind of just setting up a kind of like an inside bar, kind of sloppy consolidation here. And if we can break above that 50 moving average, that obviously puts us back in strong technical position above all four on the daily. IGV also basing. Again, CrowdStrike and Salesforce will move this on Wednesday. So IGV trying to consolidate that huge up move. Transport's finishing down 1/3%, but again, nothing terrible with it. You know, a little gap in crap, but you know, it finished up in the upper range of Friday's move, and again, this can just consolidate to go higher if it wants to. So currently, no real problems with the market. And again, this week I don't expect there to be many, unless NVDA, you know, completely misses, which I doubt. 2-year here finished higher. It did gap down and then close green. Again, it's going to be important for yields right here if they want to hang on. You got to get a higher low going, and you got to get back above 4 on the 10-year. So that's kind of where we're at right now, but really kind of a slow day here. Dollar finally got a dead cat bounce. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's all it is at the moment. Again, quiet day. We're not going to make too much out of it right now. XHB down 1%. Again, that did touch 120. Friday did have a new all-time closing high, but no follow-through today, kind of like the Dow. So a little bit of a mini gap and crap there, but no problems with that at the moment. VNQ, another 52-week high, but it, you know, closed flat on the day. There is some resistance here at 95 with this pivot. So it may stall out a little bit here. XLF still very strong, up 14 cents. And again, if financials are strong, you know, tech can lag. But if you have financials strong, you've got transports pretty strong. These things tend to offset. You got small cap strong. So that's one of those things you got to watch for there. KRE down 43 cents. Nothing terrible, though, after the big move yesterday. And then KBE, take a look. Went right back to this old trend line today and Friday. See if we use the daily so we can line it up a little bit better. There we go. You can see right there. Pierced it. Now we're right back to it. I'd say it's more minor now. It's been traded through a lot, but just interesting there to see that. Hitting again and then backing off. Broker dealers here, new all-time high, but it closed fractionally lower. Still in a strong uptrend. Oil did have a really good day. And again, we're continuing to watch this tightening range. See it better on the weekly. You have a little micro inside bar there on the weekly for what that's worth. Granted, it's below the moving averages, but oil not ready to go down yet. So still acting well, and the energy sector as a whole helped out today. Again, breadth was good for the markets for the most part, even though it was a down day. XLE up 81 cents. Higher highs, daily higher highs on XOP. And my OIH could be setting up an island here, and I've talked about that extensively lately, and it was up nicely today. It didn't follow through to the upside, but it held on to most of the gains. See what it does tomorrow. If this can confirm and have a, you know, close above today's high, I think you got to confirm island bottom, which is a very strong setup. And we'll watch for this closes again. We got that big wedge there. If we can get back inside of that, could be a false breakdown there on the weekly. And you guys know I like the monthly on this too. I want to see that close strong. Anyway, CCJ, we talked about the 44 handle. It went into that and pulled back. NM finished up 3 cents, and then NJ up 5. So a little bit better there. And again, we talked about that nice improvement on Friday for uranium. Nat gas was on the weaker side today. But we'll see. Maybe it does go down for double bottom. I think it's into a 618 now. Yeah, it basically got through it. Your next levels, yeah, right down at 207 or so. This is the V contract, by the way. I believe U only has like a day or two left. So I'm just kind of shifting over to the V right now. Yeah, but it could go back down to 2. Maybe double bottom. I don't think it goes much past that right now, though. I think it's probably done for the season. Done selling anyway. Dollar holding this double bottom right now. So 52-week low. Made a new 52-week low this morning. But it is holding. It's oversold, right? It should get a dead cat bounce. I would play it, honestly, to the long side. I would think if we get down to like 99.50, we get down to this double bottom here, With the 200 moving average being pierced like in a big straight line like that, I think that's definitely worth it risk reward wise. I'm not saying that means it's going to be a long term low or anything, but it's definitely getting attractive down here. Right, like I said this late last week, it's not as if the rate cuts were coming out of nowhere and the dollar's all of a sudden got to reprice all this stuff in. This was telegraphed. So, dollar index, I think it's a little overdone here. It's starting to get attractive, at least for a bounce. And perhaps that means gold's getting a little lofty. It's holding up really well. No problems, not one on any of the time frames. Full inside bar on the daily, weekly. Very good 20 moving average catching up to price. It's pushing away from that. Monthly, you could argue that it's overbought, but you based for 4 years. You could argue that you based for 13 years here. Like this is just a 13-year base. So I wouldn't worry about the monthly being overbought. It's on breakout. So, but very strong chart. If the dollar bounces right, you could see a pullback in gold, and that's all it would be. Silver up 10 cents. Still, I talked about the 30 level. Wasn't sure if it was ready. So far, it agrees. It's not getting through that just yet. But, if you keep grinding through that area and chewing away, it'll get through that. And then platinum here finished flat after a good bid, but nice bullish inside bar still. I believe that's going up to 1020, 1015, 1020. And then palladium here, same kind of look. Just consolidating here on the daily, and that is got a long double bottom base here. Copper also finished pretty decently on the day. Again, same kind of look, inside bar on the daily. Tried to pop but couldn't get through. Not a rejection though, right? It's still holding up, right? So we went up to 24, pulled back, and it's not like we did like one of these. It's still just holding that sideways area. So this can still attempt to go higher. All right, then Bitcoin here, just consolidating after the big move on Friday. So no problems here. Just kind of hammering on this channel. We talked about the 63, 63.5 area. It briefly got through, but again, it's continuing to hammer. Right, it hasn't really confirmed yet. But if you look at the hourly, it's just chewing away that supply. There's your 4-hour tight pattern. Might need to do a little bit more of it, but it's looks like it's setting up to me. Next level is 69, and then I don't think it stops after that. If it breaks 69, I think we just go right up to 80, 90, maybe 95. We'll see here. It looks pretty good though. Looks pretty promising. So again, we'll keep it short here today. Again, very light volume. Don't expect a ton of volatility right here. I think tomorrow we get a little bit of economic data. We got some housing data. There's some S&P composite data, consumer confidence, richer manufacturing. So nothing major, but some algo moves. Then later in the week we do have PCE. I don't think that's going to matter as much. Again, market's going to care a lot more about NVDA earnings. And the market's less focused on inflation right now than it is jobs. If we get a really hot print or a really cold print, could that change? Yeah, but as long as it's like near ballpark expectations, I don't think the market's going to really care. As long as NVIDIA, does well, the market will be fine. So, anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.